Hello, everyone. A change of pace from our usual program. Look, I'm not going to do a video about witchcraft today. Sorry to say. Happy Samhain and happy Halloween to those who celebrated. It's now Sunday, the 3rd of November. Oh, can't wait for all the bloody memes from the election in the United States. Who cares about the American election? Only Americans. So stop putting it all over Twitter and Facebook. It's getting annoying. I wanted to talk about now. I'm not. I'm kind of an audiophile. When it comes to music, I listen to it on cassette. I listen to it on vinyl. I listen to it on CD. I listen to it lossless streaming. Music is a very important thing to me. It's everywhere in my house. There's a picture of the Beatles there. There's a signed copy of Mazzy Star over there. Music is very important to me, and it plays a very crucial, important role in my life. Without music, I probably would be very bored. Vinyl reissues. I really want to talk about vinyl reissues, and one in particular that has just annoyed the fuck out of me since I bought it. Because I can't listen to it. Because it's so fucking terrible. And the price tag on it annoys the fuck out of me. Now, because vinyl is in, vinyl's been in since 2008, they keep saying vinyl is on the rise. Vinyl never really went away, okay? And there's a demand for it, and the reason the prices are so high is because of gas and coal and blah blah blah, and the Ukraine war and blah blah blah. Any excuse that they can use to hike up the price of vinyl records, it's ridiculous. I'm buying a lot of my vinyl from iMusic. It's a Danish site. They're cheap. They're like $30 for a record, but then the fucking shipping is like... And all the Australian vinyl is like $80, $75, $110 for a double album. I bought the Cause Talk on Corners on vinyl, and $110 it would have cost me locally. I got it for $50 on iMusic. This thing is that Australia is importing vinyl from Germany or the Czech Republic, and it costs a lot of money to import it. That's what shits me off, is that we had this whole news article saying Sony opens a record pressing plant in Australia. Why the fuck don't we use it then? Why is every album I go to at the record shop, whether it's JB Hi-Fi or somewhere online, why is it every time I see BMG, Sony or ATV on a record, why is it still $80 fucking if it's printed in Australia? Make that motherfucking make sense. It doesn't. But reissues, vinyl is big business, especially when it comes to reissuing albums of artists from the 70s and 80s. Paul McCartney's done it with his archive collection. Pink Floyd have done it with all their 50 million reissues that they do. The Discovery box set, the Pink box set from 1982, the something or rather, whatever it is, like, everyone's getting a reissue. Elton John got the Diamond box set. Blur with their, was it Blur 21? I don't know. I fucking love Blur. Anything Damon Albarn puts out, he could put out a CD of just farts, and I'd love it. Everyone's into vinyl reissues, especially Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is not as popular as she makes out. Taylor Swift is just playing collector cards with all her albums. The Mahogany Edition, the Mushroom Edition, the Lavender Edition. The record sales aren't... Oh, I spoke about this on TikTok. So I'm going to get into a reissue today, and that is Whitney Houston, her first album, on the Arista label, under, is it Clive Davis? Clive Davis. The Lou Pearlman of his day, the Tommy Mottola of his day, the Berry Gordy of the 80s. Whitney Houston's self-titled album, which her next one was also a self-titled album. Okay. Now, I want you to be sure that I know what this album should sound like. I have the original 1984 pressing. I have the original 1984 Australian cassette. And I have the, when was it? 2014? 2010? 30 or 25, 30 anniversary edition on CD, which has a bonus DVD with 5.1 Dolby sound. I know what this album should sound like. Now, the thing about reissues, now I bought this because, you know, I've got the old 1985 original release of Whitney Houston right here, and I've had two pressings of that. One that's all crackly and shit, and one that is very impressive. It's actually the one I used to deem whether my cartridge is aligned properly or not. Because no integrated distortion on that record at all. But I wanted it new, and I wanted a remastered version on vinyl. The problem with reissues is they do this stupid shit where they print it on coloured vinyl, transparent vinyl, or some kind of fucking special sparkly shit, which, if you know, white vinyl is the worst vinyl to print on. Savage Garden released their 1997 album, self-titled album, on vinyl for the first time in like 20 years last year, and I won't buy it because it's on white vinyl. I won't buy white vinyl. If it says white vinyl, if I buy it and I find out it's white vinyl, I will take it back because I'm not listening to white vinyl. White vinyl is shit. But this one comes on peach transparent vinyl, and I actually don't think this plays a role in why it sounds like shit. I have transparent vinyl. I have Madonna albums that are transparent. I have a Janet Jackson album that's transparent. I have an Evanescence album that's transparent. I have transparent albums. I have transparent singles. I have transparent coloured vinyl, and it is fine. I don't like coloured vinyl because it always comes with some kind of issue if it's white vinyl mixed with something else, or a gold vinyl. When I saw that the Chords album was on gold vinyl, I was because my Elvis hits on gold sound shit. But I come to the realization I think it's because it was pressed too hot. So with that, yes, thank you, water cooler behind me going blah. It agrees. With all this, you get the fan testimonials, like I give a fucking shit what Sherry from Chicago thinks, or Mitchell Cohen, or fucking Ariel from Florida thinks. I don't give a fuck what you think about. Why do people put fan testimonials in albums? I don't get it. Right? I think that's lovely to have all the singles art at the bottom. Fantastic. You know, they did a disservice by not putting Jermaine Jackson's Take Care of My Heart on there, because that was a single. So I was excited to get it home, and I didn't realise it was going to be on peach vinyl. And when it said peach vinyl, I was assuming it was just going to be coloured vinyl, not transparent. So when I put it on, and I listened to it, mind you, look at the freaking price tag. Yeah, $60. When I got it home and I put it on, and I got my little spin clean and cleaned it, and wait for it to dry, put it on, didn't crackle, nothing like that, it was all good, there was no static, I used my zero stat. The issue, you know when you buy a new album and you forget to use the carbon fibre brush and the fluff from the paper, the fibres get on your stylus needle. Well, it sounded like that. And I thought, oh, God, maybe the towel I used to dry it was just not, should lint free. Wasn't that. Checked the needle. Fine. I got the microscope out. Nothing wrong with the grooves. When I tell you, this thing, when I put the headphones on, fading out in here, fading out in there, and then the sound, the music sounds crunched, okay? It sounded like either the master tape was shite, because it was 1985, and this has been pressed how many times, or the mother of the press was worn, or it's just an inferior printing because no one in vinyl knows how to print new albums. They don't create new mixes for vinyl anymore. I don't know if you noticed, but every album that gets released on vinyl these days is a double album. I don't know why. I don't understand how you can remaster Pink Floyd The Wall and still have that onto vinyl records. But Sabrina Carpenter, double vinyl, and there's only like 11 tracks on her album. Don't tell me it's the bass. Don't tell me it's this and that. It's money. It's got nothing to do with the soundstage and blah, blah, blah and all that fucking bullshit. It's actually money. Double albums cost more. It's just what it is. My problem with remasters, and Craig from Vinyl TV showed us his AC/DC Back in Black original pressing, and like one he got from a flea market that was on a shelf, like no case, no slipcase, and then a remastered version from 2011 on vinyl. And the remastered version sounds flat and disgusting. I don't understand why they don't employ people who know how to produce vinyl. I don't understand. No one who cuts vinyl now was alive when vinyl was originally produced. There's no George Martin. There's no Glenn Ballard doesn't create music for vinyl. Fucking, who else is it? Bruce Swedien. All these engineers and producers, they're not producing separate mixes for CD, cassette, and vinyl anymore. And I don't know if people know this, but when you press cassette, also you need to have a separate mix because it will sound totally different on cassette. I bought Positions by Ariana Grande on cassette and it sounds fucking shit. It's got nothing to do with Dolby Noise production. This is what this sounds like. This, if I'm going to be honest, it sounds like I had Dolby Noise reduction on a cassette that didn't have it. Like, I put Dolby Noise reduction on a tape from 2001. Like an Indonesian cassette tape. Because they never had Dolby Noise reduction. And they still print cassettes. Because it's a moist country and, mold and growth, disc rot and all that. It sounded like someone put pillows in front of my speakers. If this is what you have to offer the youth of today, and you want them to listen to this and go, this was groundbreaking in 1985? No, baby girl, it wasn't groundbreaking in 1985. This was groundbreaking in 1985. It was beautifully produced, engineered, it was balanced, the soundstage was perfect. Whoever mixed this didn't give a fuck about Whitney Houston. Didn't give a fuck about her music, never listened to the music. Guaranteed, 100%, some 30-year-old fuck knuckle who works in a factory probably put like a downloaded MP3, like 116 kilobits per second MP3 on vinyl, because that's what it could be. I don't know if you've seen that, but Kid Cudi released an album, and some poor bastard on r/vinyl on Reddit said, why is there a screenshot sound in the song? Kid Cudi reached out to this guy on Twitter, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and said, hey man, I'm going to get you a new copy. It's like, I don't think you know this, Kid Cudi. That's on every copy sent all around the world. Because the motherfucker who engineered your vinyl pressing didn't give a fuck about you. That is why there is a screenshot sound in your album. I think it's a greatest hits compilation too, so I don't understand why the original master tapes weren't used. They don't use tapes, so why the original lossless files weren't used. It makes no sense to me that people who are engineering and printing vinyl or cassette don't understand. Like, they don't get it. Like, I understand this, probably they didn't use master tapes, they probably used a lossless file. Like, I get it. I understand. But it sounds shit, and I'm paying $60 for a piece of plastic that sounds shit. When I picked this up from the Lifeline I worked at when I was 17 for 50 cents. I don't understand how this can sound better than this. This should sound better than this. This is a remaster. This is not. If this sounds better than this, there's a fucking problem, and I want my money back. I would rather listen to this on low battery on a Jensen than listen to that. I would rather listen to this at 192 kilobits a second on MP3 than listen to that. It's terrible. We're paying almost a whole day's worth of wages for an album. It's not the album, by the way, it's the pressing. A pressing that sounds like shit. How can this keep going? How are we going to keep vinyl alive? People say vinyl is final. Is it though? Is it though? I don't know. If anything, people said, oh, Crosley Cruises will put the nail in the coffin for vinyl because no one will want to listen to vinyl anymore when they hear that it sounds like shit. Shut up, Michael Fremer. No one wants to hear from you, boomer. Okay? What will kill vinyl is when vinyl sounds like shit. It's like when you go to, I think you call it Goodwill in America. If you go to like St. Vincent de Paul, which is a thrift shop, a op shop here, like if you go through the vinyl, all you'll find is like Everly Brothers, Isley Brothers, Nana Muscori, and then all the fucking easy listening Mozart shit. You won't find any of this anymore because people are selling it on eBay at jumped up prices. I bought a copy of Richard Marx's first album for $30 off eBay. Like, you know, and the guy sent me audio samples of what it sounds like, and I loved it. It's great. Fantastic. That's why I bought that. If I could try before I buy that, the remaster is supposed to sound so much better. But with, like, Michael Jackson albums, we know that that's not true. because Michael Jackson's 2001 remasters sound all crunched. The stereo separation of the 2009 Beatles masters are terrible, but we just live with it because Beatles were popular again in 2009 way through to now. The originals aren't supposed to sound better. People say, well, the original's better because it's how the artist wanted it to sound. Yes, but then again, people are buying Giles Martin's remixes of albums, of Beatle albums, and they think they're better. I don't know. We buy remastered because we think it's going to sound better, but all remastered means is that the volume's been turned up, apparently, according to David Byrne, the comedian from Ireland. I don't know. I can't stress it anymore. The fact that reissue vinyl sounds shit compared to a well-played, well-used 1985 copy that my mother bought when she was in high school and abused the fuck out of. If that sounds better than a reissue, a new pressing of it on vinyl, there's a fucking problem with the music industry. There's a problem with the way things are being pressed. So, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert of vinyl. I'm not an expert of the way things should be. I don't have the greatest turntable. It's a Sherwood PM9802, but in the bedroom, I've got a Audio-Technica LP60. So they're decent players. So it's not the player, because I played it on both, and it sounds the fucking same. So, I can't take it to my friends and play it on their Denon and think that it's going to sound different, because it won't. It's the pressing. It's not the player. It's not the stylus. It's not the amp. It's not because my speaker wires aren't made of plated gold. It's not this, it's not that, it's not the humidity in the air. I'm not an expert, but I'm not a fucking idiot. I know that should sound 10 times better. It should. By definition, a remaster should sound 10 times, if not 100% better than the original master from 1985. So, I didn't even mention Amy Winehouse Back in Black, right? That's a terrible vinyl pressing. Adele's 19, terrible pressing on vinyl. The 2016 Rumours by Fleetwood Mac is a terrible fucking pressing. There are bad pressings. But we shouldn't put up with it. We shouldn't put up with terrible fucking pressings. We should not. Blessed be everyone, and I'll see you all real soon.